So I'm going to share my screen, and as I do that, I expect us to... Okay, I don't know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can, sir.
Hello.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We lost you a bit.
Okay, yeah. If you can hear me now, that's fine. Without wasting much time, we're going to be starting shortly. I don't know if Dr. Festus is here. Dr. Festus, are you around now? Professor Francisca, is she around now?
Yes, the voice is here.
Okay,
Dr.
okay,
Festus is not here.
okay, okay. So let me start by welcoming every one of us with a very beautiful good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending which part of the world you are connecting with us from. My name is Kennedy. I'm going to be your anchor host for our fourth virtual summit. And I'm sure we're going to have an interesting outing. While we expect some of our colleagues and members to join, I'm going to be calling on Dr. Festus. If he's not here, maybe Prof will do that. Oh, great.
Dr. Festus is here now.
Okay, great. So let me give a little background before I hand over to Dr. Festus, and then he will be able to anchor the next segment. There are a whole lot of interesting narratives going on within the AI industry, with the US and China doing a whole lot within this space, in terms of annual budgets, in terms of capacity building, training, and for us in Nigeria, there are a whole lot of challenge which we have to grapple with. If you look at my screen, we'll have some very key, interesting industry developments according to TechWire. This the latest statistics. That's the global AI market size had been valued at 27.23 billion as at 2019, and is expected to reach 266.9 billion by 2027, and exhibiting a compound annual growth rate of about 33.2% during this forecast period. Talking about AI. And the rising number of connected devices, growing adoption of the Internet of Things, of course, driving this market narrative. So this is a very huge market, and we believe that moving forward, many of us in this meeting will begin to think, how am I going to tap into this global, market valuation size in terms of AI? So if you are not doing AI at this time, you're going to be shortchanging yourself. And so this will be the opening narrative for this particular engagement. Again, if you look at the market size as of 2022, about 65.7%, seems to be taking a very huge chunk in terms of AI adoption. The hardware and the service industry taking toll. And then, like I mentioned, China, US, North America, and some of these countries are really taking very huge leap in trying to optimize and maximize the benefits of AI. Now, this engagement today is going to expose and expound us to lots and lots of development within this space. And I'm very happy that I have very brilliant and wonderful colleagues who will be doing great justice to the subject we have today. So on these notes, I'm going to just run through the program for the day, and then I will invite Dr. Festus to formally take us through this agenda, and then open up introduction. Professor France will do some opening remark, and then we'll follow that order while we expect people to join. So at this point, I would like to hand over to Dr. Festus to officially, or Professor Francisca to give us opening remark, and then do prayers, and as well hand over to Dr. Festus as we make progress. Thank you very much. Wish us a brilliant outing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kennedy. Thank you very much.
Good. Can see you. Thank you.
I'm happy to welcome all of you to another event by this great association. This association is actually a non-profit organization comprising of professional experts dedicated to advancing
lost profit
and as in advancing in AI and machine learning in terms of training, symposium, seminars, workshop, and other things. Now, it was actually started by General Ishola Williams, retired, and Dr. Festus. Most of our members, we have different membership categories abroad. At least 1/4 are abroad, and we have been a lot of academia, people in academics, people in the industry, business, and so on, because we also have corporate members. And now, when you are talking about this association, if you look at the mission, the vision, our core values on the website, you understand actually what the association is all about. Our board of trustees have gone so far with the ESCOs and also the members to build something that people can look at and say, yes, this is an association that will go far. And we really want to go far because Nigeria is stepping out in AI. And this is something the association wants to build on. Now we have a lot of things we've done, and it has actually yielded a lot of fruits, making people aware of association. Now, looking at our 5-year roadmap, you will see that this association is actually looking into technologies, AI and ML technologies that will actually benefit not just Nigerians, but globally. And when you are talking about this, we looked into establishing foundations, and we tried capacity building and research advancement, and it's still going on. And I'm happy to say that our talent development and policy advocacy is something that is going to stand strong. Looking at the impact we have in research and innovations, the members are wonderful. And we also mentor the young ones. We have student category, and we have actually sustained some global impact in terms of focusing on AI policy research and evidence-based advocacy. And when you look at the reputation and partnership of the members in trying to leverage what we have in mind, our mandate, you see that it's not just a growing association looking forward to pick interested members to collaborate with more partners in building the warfront, the framework of AI and machine learning. Now, we have people that joined us during different events. They would like to join. All of a sudden, we'll lose them again. I don't know if it's the interest or the awareness was not fully built, but I know that the step you have taken attending this event, you will see the change. You will get the experience, and you would like to continue. And so when you finish with this, you can go to the website and still read about the association. Ask questions. You have, we have our database. We have also our platforms. We'll bring you in and you can actually follow. Most of you are from one of our speakers' university. I've seen the PhD students there. I've seen the ones from University of Abuja and NDA. Reach out to others. Tell them about this association. Make them to be aware of what they will benefit in building AI and ML as the forefronters. Thank you so much for being part of us today. And I know you will learn a lot and you will not be the same in terms of AI experience and ML experience. The people that are speaking to you today are two collaborators that have written wonderful books with the executive secretary of our association, and they have actually exploited everything concerning research, its methodology, and so on. So the students that have actually used it have benefited them. We brought them in today for panel discussion. Listen very well, understand what they're saying, and ask questions. Thank you so much, and welcome to the 4th visual symposium and panel discussion of this great association. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vice Chair. Thank you so much for that brilliant, opening. I would like to call on our dear Dr. Festus, our co-founder, who will give us another in-depth, brief on AAIMLON. She mentioned something about our roadmap. There are a few things you need to know about AAIMLON, projections, membership, subscription, and all that. So I want to call Dr. Festus to just give us 5 minutes, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Kafo and Professor Francisca. When I was in Scotland, and General Chola Williams invited me to Nigeria, that he need to come to Nigeria. There is something burning in his heart. And I said, what is it, sir? He said, setting up an association for artificial intelligence for Nigeria. And because of his experience, as he has traveled all over the world, he thinks this is the time for us to have this type of association. And what was the purpose of the association? And what was it meant to achieve? The main mission, which serves the core purpose, is to drive artificial intelligence and machine learning innovations and excellence for the benefit of humanity, in Nigeria in particular, and globally. And one of the ways we want to achieve this one is that we want to aim to be one of the centers of AI excellence across the globe, not only in Nigeria. And what we have witnessed since this thing was set up is a massive interest that has been developed by various institutions in UK, in US, in Canada, that they want to partner with us. They want to work with this association. And luckily, the association has been able to draw on think tanks, intelligence, people of high caliber, professionally and academically qualified across Nigeria and even across the globe. Many people have started registering from different parts. I believe the best is yet to come. Those who are trying to consider joining, I'm sure a lot of them will join once they see things moving. So our vision will support the global technical community and professionals everywhere, and to be generally identified for the contributions of AI. Thank you very much for the recent visit of the executive team led by the Vice Chair to the Honorable Minister. And now this visibility is coming out slowly. And by the time we do more of this program, the awareness will be created. So I can't say much than what Dr. Kafo and what the Vice Chair have said, just to let you know that the train has started. It's about to take off, and it's good for you to join the train. And because there'll be no regret in it, because so many things are going to happen. AAIMLON will promote disruptive innovation through wide collaborations and knowledge sharing. We're going to gain from that. And we're going to elevate public awareness. And we're going to do this one properly. And we serve as a reliable source of research and learning across the board. And we are going to support massive windows for professionals and career development. And we will stimulate stakeholders' engagement by creating platforms for functional advanced knowledge. So these are some of the things we are going to achieve. So with your support, we will enjoy, we are going to do that. We are going to achieve that. So I welcome you again to this fourth virtual symposium and panel discussion. We have a lot of think tanks, a lot of intellectuals. Dr. Uche Mbanaso, Dr. Luci Abraham will be there. And thank you for Dr. Solomon Arase, our chair, who has always been supporting us. He's currently the chairman of Nigerian Police Service Commission, but giving us a lot of weight behind. And Dr. Kennedy, thank you very much. Over to you. We're not hearing you.
Dr. Kennedy.
Doctor.
Yeah,
Dr.
can you hear me
Kennedy.
now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
What do you call it? Be careful who you mute, so you don't mute me and then cause bomb here. Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Festus. I want to say that we'll have very brilliant audience in our meeting today. I'll have some of my friends, I can see them from the US, some from, UK, some from, South Africa. I can see some of my former students. So it's going to be a very brilliant engagement. This afternoon, we have very interesting subjects we're going to discuss in the next few minutes. We'll have two invited, speakers, well-renowned speakers, within the domain of AI, digital transformation, disruptive technology, cybersecurity, and what have you. And I started this conversation by mentioning that, by 2027, 2030, the global annual valuation of artificial intelligence within the spectrum of disruptive technology is going to be worth over close to 300 billion, US dollars. And that's very massive. There are a whole lot of research, a whole lot of engagements going on within that space. And it'd be wise for us to be very careful to understand the global trajectory in terms of AI infusion. Many organizations are taking it very seriously. In the UK government has made it mandatory for all the government workers. If you're a government-related person, you must have fundamental knowledge on the use of data science to execute your daily routine. And this is trickling, several other market segments, but the vertical and the horizontal market segment, they are strongly adopting, so it's a very big business. And it's important to understand this narrative. Whether you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, or anywhere, you need to understand this. And that will help you to begin to think critically of what to do to align with this global, trajectory. So today we have panel discussion of two major speakers. I'm going to read their citation. The first person will be talking to us on research design. Just 1 minute. Let me pull our agenda. So we'll have two speakers. I'm going to be introducing them. The first person is going to be talking to us on what we call, just 1 minute. Okay, so we have Dr. Luci Abraham, one of my great collaborators. She's a great, researcher and a mentor, very inspiring and very motivating personality. I'm sure many of us will be glad to meet her today. Part of the thing we do in our platform is to create that networking, opportunity, to network with experts, within this space of our discourse. So this afternoon, we're going to be talking to us on research design for complex questions about digital transformation, looking at it from AI perspectives. She's going to be talking to us on that. And you just give me 1 minute. I'm going to read her, do her citation. Just 1 minute. Okay, why I'm trying to call that up. Dr. Luci Abraham is from one of our university in South Africa. So I need to call this up. Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, while I'm trying to do that, I will just introduce her probably before we start the second speaker. Start with the second speaker. We'll do her citation properly. But she's from the University of Witswatersrand in South Africa. She'll be doing the subjects we call research design for complex question about digital transformation from the AI perspective. She will have like 20 minutes and then we'll have less than 10 minutes for question and answers. And then we'll have panel discussion and then we'll be able to wrap up. Then we'll have our second speaker, Dr. Mbanaso. I'll do the citation, the moment she's about to come up. I can see that on my screen right now. So Dr. Luci, are you ready now?
Yes, I am ready.
Great. I'm happy to give you the platform at this time to share your thoughts on this particular subject. This is AAIMLON, and I'm sure we're going to have a brilliant outing. So please, can you unmute her and give her the privilege at this time to share her screen, and then we'll take it from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So can you share your screen now, please?
I am trying.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. This is not coming up.
Is my screen visible now?
I'm not sure I'm seeing your screen yet.
Stop sharing. Dr. Kennedy, can you stop sharing your screen to allow her?
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, it's good now.
Dr. Luci, please go ahead and share your screen, ma'am.
I will do that. Do you see my screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
I'm not sure why, because I have shared it. Let me try again. Oh dear. If I'm not able to, I'm going to send it.
Okay.
Shall I send it?
You can
You
send
can
it
put
to
it
me.
in the chat, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'll see if we can share it from here.
You want me to put it in the chat?
Yeah.
You can put it in the chat, ma'am.
No,
and then we can share
don't,
from here.
Don't put in the chat. Please send the slide to me. Don't put in the chat, please.
No, if you send it to you personally or to me, and then we can share from.
Yeah. If you can access you, let her send that to you quickly, so that you can share.
I'm going to send it to everybody.
Okay, fine.
That I emailed earlier.
Oh, I'm not sure we saw that.
Yes, I sent my short bio on the email, so I'm sending it to that email, and I'm adding Prof. Mbanaso.
Oh, I see. So
that everybody has it.
Okay. So probably before you start, yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, so just in less than 2 minutes, I think I've been able to access your bio right now. I would like to do that bio and then I'll hand over to you. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
I've sent it. I've sent it to everyone. I've sent it. I'll read who I've sent it to. Kennedy Okafor, Kauna Penzen, Francesca, Arinola, Festus, Gloria, Uche. Sent it to everybody. Thanks.
Okay, great. All right, so Dr. Luci Abraham is the director of Link Centre at the University of Witswatersrand, Johannesburg. She's building research. She's building research on digital innovation and how digital technologies and processes influence change. And studies she's carried out in the past includes case studies in digital transformation or digital governance, digital skills, gap analysis, digital strategy, scaling up innovation in tech hubs, open access in scholarly publishing, open air research partnership, and health e-services, improving Egypt-South Africa research partnerships. Luci convenes the Masters in Administration and PhD programs in interdisciplinary digital knowledge economy studies and supervises postgraduate research. Does short lectures on short notes on disruptive technologies, digital operation and cyber leadership, lectures on research methods for cybersecurity professional practice. She serves on the board of Tertiary Education Network, TECNET. Luci is corresponding editor for the African Journal of Information and Communication, indexing Sci-ILO Citation Index. She has previously served on many boards and committees, including Development Bank of South African, the National Advisory Council on Innovation, the Board of National Research Foundation, the Financial and Fiscal Commission, the Ministerial Review Panel on Science Technology, and the Innovation Institutional Landscape, and on Evaluation and Review Reference Group for Review of National Research Foundation. Okay. She chaired the Advisory Committee on ICT Governance for University of Fort Hare from 2019 to 2020. She designs and presents workshops on digital universities, digital skills, future-oriented policy and regulation for digital era. She has collaborated with a number of researchers, and on this occasion, she will be speaking to us on a very interesting subject as I hand over the podium to her. Thank you so much. Over to you, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you. If one of the people who received could just share the presentation on screen. Thank you.
Okay.
I hope that there isn't too much background noise. I've just landed from Istanbul, so I'm still seated at the airport. So I hope it's not too noisy.
No, it's quite cool. It's quite cool. No
we're
problems.
Just waiting for that presentation to show up on the screen.
Ms. Bello, can you see that presentation? Ms. Bello, can you see that presentation?
No, sir. I didn't get it. That's why I said you should send it to the chat. It's easier for me to pick it from the chat, and then I can project from there.
Oh, I see. I see. That's
really, it's not dropping in my email.
Does anyone else have it? Uche Mbanaso?
I
have it with me.
Okay.
So if you can make me a host, I'll see if I can share it from here.
Okay. Your post already, sir. So you can share.
Okay. Okay.
Your post, just like Dr. Luci. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Just one sec.
Yeah, so while she's trying to share, there's a book we co-authored on cybersecurity. We're going to be sampling that book.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes, thank
Very
you.
Very good.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much. If you can just put it full
Full screen.
on slideshow, yeah.
Yeah, just one sec.
It's up there.
At the bottom of the
One
screen.
sec. Okay.
Bottom, there we go. Lovely. Thank you so much. All right. So little technical difficulties, but that's okay. What I'm going to talk about is how we could be using AI much more extensively in all forms of research, whether formal degree, postgraduate research with student research teams, or whether with academic research teams. So very often we are called upon, in fact, our business as academics is to engage in research on complex questions. And one such complex question is, why is digital transformation so challenging in mathematics education in public schools? This is a topic that a PhD student of mine has just completed his single study on. But the question, why is digital transformation so challenging in mathematics education in public schools, is not answered by a single PhD. It is answered by many, many researchers and research teams engaged over long periods of time. And one of the techniques to respond to such questions is a technique called the systematic literature review. So let's have a look at, Uche, the next slide. Yes, the systematic literature review. I'm not sure if colleagues are familiar with a systematic literature review approach, but very simply, if we look at the diagram on the right, there can be 5 or more steps in writing a systematic literature review. One of the steps is what we call systematic analysis, where we gather together many existing studies. So using particular search terms, we can find extensive literature. We can literally find thousands of journal articles, research papers, and so on. And it is generally difficult, impossible, time-consuming to review over 1,000 research papers. So while there is some degree or lack of consensus on whether we should be using AI tools, the practicality, the impossibility of, I'm not sure if I'm speaking alone or someone is speaking with me. There seems to be an echo. Shall I continue?
Please go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, please, can you mute every other participant and allow her to speak, please? I'm also hearing echo from the background. People are talking in the background.
Shall I continue now? So if we are conducting systematic analysis with very large numbers of existing published research, and it will be very time consuming, it will take a long time, and it will increase the level of difficulty to finalize an analysis of 1,000 or more articles. One student of mine is looking at the topic of digital government, and he found over 13,000 articles. So these processes, if we want to be systematic, it is then essential to use artificial intelligence-based applications. But very often academics resist the use of AI applications because they believe that the old ways are best. The human must do all the difficult technical steps in analysis. My view is very different, is that the human can collaborate with AI. In fact, the human can design the AI applications to synthesize, to apply inclusion and exclusion criteria, to create annotated bibliographies, to design visualizations, things I will talk about a little bit more. So if we look at stage 4, diagram on the right of the screen, if we look at stage 4, there is a process whereby we need to extract data from existing studies. That again can be time consuming to do without technological tools, digital tools. So I'm suggesting that many or all of the stages of conducting systematic reviews on existing data or systematic reviews on existing publications can be assisted by using AI applications. So if you look at my points on the left-hand side of the screen, I suggest ways in which we should approach the use of AI applications in ways that do not minimize the value of the human researcher. As I've already said, the AI applications can be used to engage in many parts of the design. So here we are not talking about off-the-shelf AI software. We are not talking about ChatGPT at all. We are talking about specialized dynamic software that may be designed by our postgraduate students or by ourselves as academic researchers. We as researchers and our research teams should engage in such software design because here lies the opportunity for novelty, for originality, that we are designing our own AI software to undertake systematic reviews of data, of literature, and so on. Those programmers, the AI programmers, can be individual researchers, they can be postgraduate research teams, they can be academic research teams. And of course, not only can we design AI applications to do these very complex reviews and analysis, but we can also design AI applications for answering the complex question about mathematics education. We want to design on the African continent the kinds of AI applications that enable mathematics education. Mathematics education is something that we struggle with in all our countries. Yet, when we look at the AI applications design taking place on the continent, very little of this is to create the kinds of dynamic software that will improve mathematics education results at primary school, at secondary school, and at tertiary education level. What this means is that the kinds of AI applications being designed to improve the quality of mathematics education are being designed elsewhere. They're being designed in the North, in the Americas, in Europe, in Japan. And what that means is that there is AI bias in the applications design, because those applications do not take into account African languages, African culture, the African experience of mathematics education. We can move to the next slide, please. Prof. Uche? Yes. So just, that's fine. Just a little bit more. No, previous one. Yes, that one. Just a little bit more about the systematic literature review methodology. I'm using visualizations because visualizations are very powerful ways of communicating ideas, often more powerful than words. So this is another visualization of the systematic literature review. You can see here the focus on inclusion and exclusion. We search on multiple databases. You can see there N equals 1,252. That's what I was talking about earlier, that typically when we engage in a search, we find a significant number of publications, too many to analyze. And applying certain exclusion criteria in a screening process, in this case, the researchers excluded an initial 783, getting us to N equals 469. Then they excluded a further 443, leading us to N equals 126, excluded a further 18. And through that exclusion process, ended up with the number of papers for analysis, namely 74. Now, this kind of activity lends itself very well to being enabled by very simple, very basic AI applications, reducing the time constraints that we have so much difficulty with as academics. We never have enough time. So if we apply AI, and remembering that already when we search databases, there are AI tools being used in the background. So the resistance to AI enablement is sometimes a little unnecessary. Okay, next slide is the last little part of the discussion. I'm going to talk about the annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliography. Again, I'm not sure if colleagues are familiar with this annotated bibliography format. I'm going to go through it very quickly. And then after this session with AAIMLON, Prof. Uche and Prof. Kennedy and I, and anyone else who's welcome, we'll talk about designing an AI tool that will make the annotated bibliography even simpler. So let's move to the next slide, please. The annotated bibliography has three simple elements. We write down the reference in APA style. And there is an example, Clark Wilson C. 2017, Transforming Mathematics Education with Digital Technologies, the Community of Practice Perspective. We've got the title of the book, the page numbers, and the digital object identifier, the DOI. Yes, we can do this using the automated tools, but what we've noticed is that a lot of the existing automated tools give you errors, and we do not want errors. So let's create an AI-enabled tool ourselves. Next slide. And then we want the highlights, just the highlights. So the particular paper may be very long. Remember, I think we had 74. We had N equals 74. So we want to write 74 APA references. We want to write a paragraph of 3 highlights for each of 74 papers. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. And we want to write a paragraph of critical analysis for each of the 3 highlights for 74 papers. So we can see that this is time consuming. Now, I think those of us who understand how AI works, we know that AI doesn't mean that you take the human out of the equation. We can create the kinds of applications where there is human AI cognitive collaboration, so that the AI is not doing it for us, the AI is doing it with us, or we are doing it with the AI. And then the last slide, please, Prof. Uche. So what we want to get to is this final format of the annotated bibliography, where we have at the first round of understanding what is already known about the challenges of using digital technologies to improve mathematics education. We want to generate as quickly as possible this format for 74 existing publications. And if we want to do that in a relatively short space of time, let's say 7 to 10 days, then what we want is collaborative AI. And on that note, I hand back to the chair. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. Very brilliant, very insightful perspective on the use of AI to complement our human capacity in carrying out systematic literature review. For those of us, doing research, probably you're a professor, you are a PhD student or master student, and you really want to understand more about the concept of systematic literature review. There's a book we've published, and I'm sure probably Dr. Mbanaso, I think he will help us talk about that. You can reach out, and then we can give you more guidelines on what to do and how to go about it. If you have questions, just be preparing your questions. I'm thinking if probably we can take questions now briefly before we introduce our next speaker. Thank you so much, Dr. Luci, for this beautiful, perspective. Is something worth thinking about. Digital transformation, AI, systematic literature review. These are very interesting subjects. We really appreciate, your, narrative and the perspective you offer. Thank you so much. Any question, please? You can use the reaction button. You can signify if you have any question or any comment before we proceed with our next speaker. Any reaction, any question? Okay. In the absence of any other reaction, I'm going to introduce the next speaker. I want us to just pay a little attention before he steps in and give us his views and his thoughts on the subject we have today. So I'm going to just 1 minute. Oh, sorry.
Dr. Kennedy, somebody raised up hands. So can you allow the person to speak?
Oh, okay. Let me get that now. So let's get the thoughts. Okay, I have Dr. Aminat Ola. Dr. Aminat Ola, will give you just 1 minute or less. Just give us your question or your perspective before we move on to the next presentation. Yeah, so you have the floor, please. Ms. Bello, can you unmute? Unmute Dr. Aminat. Ms. Bello, can you unmute Dr. Aminat?
Sir?
Can you unmute Dr. Aminat? She's muted. Can you unmute her right now?
1 second.
Okay, Dr.
Good
Aminat.
afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
It's nice to be part of this program. I really appreciate what Dr. Luci has done. My question is, does this software to be developed or being developed doing something like Zotero and Mendeley? That's my question, please. Thank you.
Dr. Luci?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for that question. So what I see is that this would be a significant advance over and above what Mendeley or Zotero can do.
Okay.
Mendeley and Zotero are not necessarily that intelligent. You know, they simply record what the researcher gives them. They simply format what the researcher gives them. So the degree of intelligence of Mendeley and Zotero is not very high. What I'm proposing here is much more advanced AI tools than Mendeley and Zotero. And what I'm saying is that it's really an opportunity for African software developers, AI programmers, to compete, I suppose, to compete and demonstrate our ingenuity in AI programming. Because to my knowledge, this kind of software is not available, what I'm proposing. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah. Any other question or any other intervention before I go on to my next citation? Dr. Aminat, I hope that's okay. Okay, so I want to introduce our next speaker. He's going to be talking to us on the next subject. The subject we call Conceptualizing Research with Funnel Strategy in AI Systems. Very interesting and important subjects, which, I mean, we dealt with these subjects in our latest publication with Springer. I'm sure he's going to give us very fantastic insights on this particular subject. So I'm talking about no other person than our own Professor Uche Mbanaso. He's a PhD holder and is a leading cybersecurity subject matter expert. He's currently the Executive Director, Center for Cyberspace, and an Associate Professor of Cybersecurity and Computer Science at Nasarawa State University, Keffi, Nigeria. He's a visiting academic at Link Centre, University of Witswatersrand, Johannesburg, South Africa. He's a key player in the development of cybersecurity in Nigeria, having played important roles in the development of cybersecurity policy, strategy, data and privacy protection, and many other cybersecurity initiatives in Nigeria. He's a software security architect and writes software in Java, C#, and Python. He has strong competence in applied cryptography, especially in distributed environment where digital trust is a requirement. Prior to joining Nasarawa State University, he worked with the public sector for over 25 years, during which he actively functioned in providing cutting-edge secure ICT solutions. His research and scholarly work include a TED Fund-sponsored research project on cybersecurity, a critical national infrastructure, CNI. He's published over 25 research articles. Over 25 research articles and 30 conference proceedings in areas of cybersecurity and information communication security. He possesses the aptitude for mentoring computing and cybersecurity mentees, especially undergraduate and postgraduate students. Professor Mbanaso supervises PhD candidates applying for well-developed pedagogical skills. He's actively mentoring young students in tech skilling up programs for dynamic cybersecurity, embedded programming, robotics. Professor Mbanaso earned an undergraduate qualification in electronics and computer engineering in Nigeria, MSc information technology in the UK, and PhD in communication and information security in the UK. He's a member of the ISACA, IEEE, Nigerian Computer Society, editorial board member of the African Journal of Information and Communication, indexed in CELO Citation Index. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome our dear Prof on board to take us on the subject of conceptualizing research with funnel strategy in AI systems. If you look at the screen closely, you will see our latest publication on research techniques for computer science, information and cybersecurity, information systems and cybersecurity. Some of the narratives, I'm sure he'll be making, reference to, this interesting book. And I hope every one of us will grab it at the end of this event. Once again, Prof, you're welcome. Thank you so much. You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okafor, for that wonderful citation. Let me start by the way of thanking the Association of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning of Nigeria, the AAIMLON, for this regular symposium, showcasing and trying to network around artificial intelligence. So I'm so glad for your initiative, and I have dedicated interest to be your member, and I'll process that as soon as possible. I want to thank Professor Francisca Guleke also for her opening remarks, and Dr. Festus, and the lady in the secretariat, didn't catch her name very well, and also Dr. Luci Abraham. Luciana has been, we've known ourselves for the past, since 2015, and we have been working collaboratively in many areas. She's very outstanding in research, a strong personality, and the product of our work speaks for itself. And so we actually joined together for almost 3 years to be able to publish research techniques for computer science, information systems, and cybersecurity, published by one of the best publishers. And I can say authoritatively that this is the first research book to be published in African, by Africans, and it should be for Africans. Let me say, there is something Dr. Luci mentioned, and it struck my imagination, and it's simply because we usually think African, and that mindset helps us to, most times trying to champion things that can help Africa. One of the things it talks about that almost every development, the mathematical development, the algorithms, methods and techniques, we just are consuming them, and we forgot that there will be a bias, because when these algorithms, these mathematical models are developed, they don't take cultural perspective of Africans into cognizance. And so we should change narrative and change the narrative. And this is one of the key takeaways of her paper. And that is why she didn't stop there. And they're straightforward, telling us there is opportunity for us to be able to come up with a more advanced systematic research, literature review that is AI-driven, that will surpass Mendeley and co. And so I think that is a welcome idea, and I think we should take that forward. Even from this association can actually champion that to get that done. And another perspective which we should be changing the narrative is that Africa, we are just not, a lot has been done, a lot of research has been done in African soil, very innovative research, but unfortunately, most of them are not consumable. They are not productive research. And I think this is where Dr. Luci was going, for us to be able to change this narrative. We should, as a matter of fact, be able to produce a piece of research that can either attract patent or should be consumed or should lead to the market. And so for me, I've included, instead of research and development, I've included research, innovation, and development to align with these thoughts. So thank you very much. Just to make those comments before I will start my presentation. Please do confirm that you are hearing me. And yeah, let me put my video for a while so that probably those who can see me before I start.
Yes, you can, sir.
So can you confirm that you are hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And so I'll be speaking on the topic of conceptualizing research with funnel strategy in AI system. And this particular topic is adapted from our book in chapter 4, adopting a funnel strategy and using mind mapping to visualize the research design. So I think we have introduced this book. Is co-authored by Kennedy, myself, and Luciana. And like I said, it is the first research book in African soil, and we encourage people to get a grab of this book. If you are doing formal or informal research, it is going to help you, because I know that it was a well-researched book. It is very, very loaded. And as we can see from the extracts, we are going to discuss shortly. So as an agenda or outline, I will look a little bit introduction, talk about PhD research, then come to this concept of funnel, and then I'll be talking about how to conceptualize research idea, applying the funnel strategy to AI research in particular, and I'll make a conclusion. So when we talk about research, every development that has happened in the human enterprise has been through research. So research has a very long history. And if we see the advanced countries where they are today, they are where they are today because every of their development is evidence-based. And you cannot have that evidence-based and fact without research. And one of the outstanding things about producing an evidence-based facts are because you are following an academic way of research, which is very, very important. So we see that the idea of research is to help us to probe uncertainties. So the universe we live is full of uncertainties, and we need to be able to also uncover gaps in knowledge. And if we're able to cover gaps in knowledge, we will gain greater insights and understanding of the phenomena that involves investigation. In research in itself has advanced our human enterprise through deliberate and conscious investigation and experimentations, discovery, and interpretation of evidence. And this interpretation of evidence is what helps in advancing the human enterprise. Because one of the tenets we should understand about research is very, very subjective. I usually describe a research as a way we view a big elephant. And so when somebody is describing a phenomenon, he can describe it from the angle he's looking at that phenomenon. And this is why that a particular phenomenon can be looked at from different perspectives, from different angles, come up, with different views of that particular phenomenon, which can help in advancing the cause of that phenomenon. So research and academics is required to conduct research in a way that promotes the most effective outcome. So we are talking about consumable and productive research. And the way you can produce a consumable and productive research is that you follow an academic principle in research. Because an academic principle in research is a systematic inquiry. And what that systematic inquiry is to be able to discover new things and create new facts or knowledge that span all facets of life. Therefore, research has constantly probed human existence, generating theories or laws in the bid to understand the universe we live. And in that, we establish new set of ideas, real-world application of such new set of ideas, or sometimes it might be to revise what is already existing, throwing more insight in what is existing. So all these are very important tenets of research. So when we talk about academic research, we need to understand there are the foundations of academic research, because many people, especially, let me talk from Nigeria here, most research students I have come across from the start don't really understand what a research is. And it's a very big problem when you don't understand what an academic research is. And so we should understand that it is inquiry and investigation. And being an inquiry and investigation, being that is an academic endeavor, it has that elements of rigorism. That is, it must be rigorous. It must be systematic and methodological. It has, when it's academic research that we need to a PhD, it must also attract some element of philosophy. And philosophy has to do of our way of thinking, our way of views, our way of seeing things. Because whatever result you are going to propose, whatever conclusion you are going to make, must be drawn from a very valid research that follows a very systematic way of looking at things. And this is why all this has to be put together in a research endeavor. And sometimes people think academic research is a project. Academic research is more than a project. It's not just a piece of writing. And I see in most students, they start their research within 6 months. They are talking of writing thesis and dissertation. And the question I ask, you can't put the cart before the horse. On what basis are you writing thesis, or what basis are you writing dissertation? Dissertation or thesis is a report of a research that you have conducted. So it is very, very important that that is understood. And in going forward, before I come to the funnel strategy, because we need to get this foundation so that you help us also understand the funnel strategy. We need to understand the characteristics of academic research. When we say it is systematic, it means it has a process. It is procedural in a fashion, meaning that you cannot jump one step to another. So that systematic is what helps us to lead to a valid research. It is logical, which means inductions and deductions can be inferred, from whatever inquiry you are doing. As you do your inquiry, do your investigation, you are extracting something from what you are actually doing. It must be empirical, meaning that there must be an evidence, and that evidence is backed up by data. Data is very, very important in research. And I have seen that most often, people who are researching, especially in computer science, information systems, and cybersecurity, don't know where data come in the stage of their research. And that is very, very important. And this is why I think most people should read our book, because most of these things are explained where data comes in. For instance, if you are devising or developing an artifact, where does data come in? At what stage do you need to gather data? So if you don't understand this, you keep on grappling, going in circles, because we say that data is at the center of research. And so, but you must also know at what stage do you get data to be able to support your research. It must be reductive, which means it must be generalized. If we apply that process, we'll be able to come to a similar conclusion. So the aspect of methodology is important. Why do we talk about methodology in academic research? Because whatever product you have produced must be replicable. So, and in emphasis about methodology, the emphasis on philosophy is because the way you come about your facts must follow certain trends that already exist, or expanding what is already existing. It must create knowledge. So all this that you have done, was it able to create a new knowledge? Is there something that we know today that we did not know yesterday? And that is very, very important when we talk about academic research. I will skip this, and because time is fast spent. So when we look at the funnel strategy, how did we come to the funnel strategy? We came to the funnel strategy because we looked at various PhD students we have supervised, and we can count the kind of problems they have in understanding research. So the funnel strategy gives you a complete picture, a complete blueprint of what a research is all about, and the various stages you are going to follow in able to arrive at a conclusion. And so we've also noticed that starting a research study is often a major challenge for research beginners. They don't know where to start. Where do they start? We also found out that most don't understand the meaning of academic research, or sometimes they have a very limited understanding of what academic research is all about. Like I've said, many things that academic research is about writing dissertation or thesis. And then that actually forms the idea of copy and paste without applying systematic approach, without applying that rigorous understanding of how research progresses. And because of that, how to conceptualize a research idea, how to set the scope of the research problem, whether that particular idea you are developing, whether it's researchable, because it's not every idea that is researchable. So all these are very, very important at the beginning of the research. So being able to find a researchable area is not usually straightforward. And this is where the funnel strategy comes in. It gives you where to start, what are the initial resources you need, what are the skills required, and how do you progress to be able to come up and finish your research. So our research funnel strategy, if you want to put it in a very succinct way, is a mental model which a researcher can adopt to provide this for its research and be able to make progress, a good progress on that research. So if we understand the funnel strategy, I will tell you that your research journey, you have done at least 30%, because understanding how a job can be done is as important as the way to complete that job. Because the research funnel strategy can actually help you even on the flow of your thoughts and how the ideas can run through, through that systematic to be able to complete your research journey. So let's have a view of when we talk about the funnel strategy. So the funnel strategy is designed like a funnel. As we all use funnel, we know what funnel is. And we can see that funnel has two parts. We have one part that is the beginning is wide. And then it got to a place where we have a narrow part. And that narrow part becomes very straight. And so metaphorically, if we take research in this way, we can see that the larger part of the funnel illustrates the subject area of your research. And this is how you have to start your research work. If I'm conducting a research in artificial intelligence, I should be able to look at artificial intelligence generally from its foundation, understand the tenets of artificial intelligence. And in doing that, I am laying a foundation of how I can understand other concepts around the problem I'm going to solve. And so that is at the tip of the funnel. As you move down within your research journey, the next level of thing you do is scoping. You need to be able to scope your research. You need to be able to scope your research, because as you are reading artificial intelligence as a general topic, you need to be able to narrow in your thinking, your ideas, whether, okay, for instance, am I going to use machine learning algorithms and techniques and methods, or I'm going to use deep learning, or I am going to combine all of them to be able to solve a problem. And so the next stage you follow is the background or literature reviews. So reviewing a lot of literatures, reading background is a very, very important aspect. And we can see that as we are doing that, the ideas are coming narrow because you begin to scoping the research idea. And so with that, you identify the gaps, the flaws, and defects, which becomes the problem. As you are reading the literature, reading the background, and when you are reviewing literatures, you begin to find out the gaps, the defects, or problems that we have solved. And that begin to generate ideas, your mental ideas about the kind of problem you can be able to solve. And then if you are able to reach at this stage, you can see that you begin to conceptualize your research idea. And that conceptualization of your research idea is very, very important, because you have passed through this journey, you are scoping your research idea, you are very close to the stem of the funnel. And with that conceptualization of your research idea, that is the hour and the time your research proposal should be able to be tendered to the research community or research board to be able to propose your research. At this stage, is only the stage you can form the title of your thesis or dissertation. At the starting time, your subject area, formulating a title of your thesis means you are putting the cart before the horse, because you have not established the problem. And it is on this stage where you now conceptualize your research. You have identified the problem you want to solve. You have framed your research questions, and then you can be able to formulate your title. And we can see at this junction, we ticked it as your research part. So what is saying that you have now come to the stem of your journey, and then you have actually formed your research part. After your research proposal, and your research proposal is accepted by the research community. This is actually when you now start working on the main research idea. So if you need to go for field work, you go for field work for data collection. If you are designing artifact, this is actually when you begin to design your artifact and gather the data that you need to be able to design your artifact. You now have your data analysis, artifact design, testing and validation, and then writing of your thesis and presenting and defending your thesis. And you can see that from the stem, it becomes a straightforward journey. But we see from the funnel, we can see that that is not a straightforward journey. And so if you can really understand this concept of a funnel and apply it in your way of your research, you will see a lot. It will help you in actually conceptualizing your research. Okay, so before we move to the next stage about how we apply the funnel strategy in actually conceptualizing a research, we need to understand that the whole idea about research is a phenomenon. And this is a phenomenon may be an observable phenomenon. It can be an event. But what is important is that this particular event or phenomenon have a behavioral variables. It is these behavioral variables that will help you to be able to draw a conclusion about that particular event. And so in doing that, we need to be able to understand what constitutes new knowledge. And the only way you can actually know that is that because you have gone through this rigorous process, applying a philosophical thinking into your research or cognitive thinking, you'll be able to understand within the gamut of literature you have reviewed, you will understand what actually constitutes new knowledge that you're about to generate. And when you are able to do that, you will understand how to produce that new knowledge, because you have now seen methodology, techniques that other people have used. You have also come across how people collected data, how they have analyzed data in all your literature reviews and all that. So you'll be equipped on how to produce new knowledge. And then what approaches and ethics that help you to produce new knowledge will be at your fingertips. So research is based on assumptions and perceptions and interpretations. And this is one of the aspects of literature review, because every researcher is looking at the elephant from a particular viewpoint. And then your inquiry and your investigation will be able to situate the opinion, the positions and arguments that are made by many people. And if you are trying to look at those opinions and positions and arguments made by other scholars, one of the things you need to be looking at, are they very objective? Because you must realize from the one that research is very subjective. And what are the level of acceptability? So are this opinion, are these positions or this argument that are held by these scholars, are they acceptable within the research community? So when we talk about academic research, we must look at it from that rigorous perspective. It must be systematic, it must be methodological, it must have a physiological and the conjunctive thinking. And with all this put together, you can come into a conclusion and draw a conclusion that can be verified, validated, and is evidence-based. So going further, one of the other fundamental things about research that we also found out is, what is the type of research you are doing? Just like Dr. Lucia said, we see that most of these methods and approaches that we use may have some bias because they didn't take into cognizances about our peculiarities, our cultures. And so if we are conducting a research, what type of research are we conducting? What category of research are we conducting? So most students don't understand that they need from day one understand the area of what they want to do. So if we are talking about artificial intelligence, are we interested in developing new theories? Are we interested in developing new concepts, algorithms, or methods? Or we are interested in extending existing theories, concepts, and algorithms, because any of these falls into the ambient of a new knowledge? Or are you carrying an assessment of theories or assessment of algorithms that are already existing to actually find their effectiveness and their efficiency in solving problems? Is that the area of research you are going to do? Or simply, you are applying existing theories, concept, or method to solve a problem? So this must be identified at the beginning of your research, the area you want to do. Because when you know which area you want to devote your time, it will help you how you conceptualize your research idea. It will help you in your theoretical framework. It is going to help you in your conceptual framework. It's going to help you in your research, how you frame your research question. And overall, it will help you, how you think about your research. So that also comes to the idea of having read your background, the theories, the concepts that apply in your research. Now, if you are going to frame a theoretical framework, you can only frame a theoretical framework when you understand theories that underpin a particular area of research you are doing. For instance, if you are looking at developing new theories or developing new algorithms, you must ground yourself with what is existing, what has other people done. So that will be your focus in your literature review, to be able to understand what has people done and how can what are the deficiencies or defects in these theories and these algorithms. Like we are here saying that most of the AI algorithms and the theories may be biased. So if we are going to develop our own theories and that, we need to understand that. But we cannot do that with a very extensive and broad reading of the background information. When we look at concepts, these concepts are what forms the dependent and independent variables. So how do you understand what is dependent and independent variables? Your research maybe contain different types of dependent and independent variables depending on the kinds of research you are doing. So you need to be able to deepen your understanding of the research idea, and meaning that you need to be able to scope that research. And in scoping that research, you must justify, every process that you have passed through and why you are taking the decisions you have taken. And so one of the things that can actually help you in your development of your concept is you can build a taxonomy, of your research, and then and also build what I call a knowledge tree of all the relevant concepts. As you are going through background reading, going through concepts, going through theories, you begin to build your own ontology bank. And with your own ontology bank, you can begin to develop a taxonomy and the relationship between these elements. And this is where the knowledge tree also comes in. And when you have developed a very extensive knowledge tree, it will help you in conceptualizing your research idea. Because if, for instance, we are talking of artificial intelligence, what is the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning? then we also talk about deep learning. What are the differences? And these are the things you begin to build and understand the relationship between all these concepts. It will help you in conceptualizing your research idea and then narrow the problem you are about to solve. Okay, so let's apply the funnel strategy in a research endeavor within the AI context. So the general area of my research is how I can apply artificial intelligence in solving a cybersecurity issue. Just like Luci has proposed, solving systematic research review using AI. So in this context, we are applying artificial intelligence to solve a problem. So from beginning, you need to understand that this is the area of your research. And so all we'll be interested is to be able to understand the tenets of AI and what are the algorithms already has been developed. What is the difference between machine learning? When does machine learning come in? Where does deep learning comes in? Where does games theory comes in? Where does regression methods come in? So this is where what you need to be able to build in to be able to get out of this research. So what is the category or nature of the study? So we are applying AI to solve a problem or assessment or extension. So we begin to read extensively and contextualize the study, identifying properly and situate the topic under inquiry. So if we have done that, so I am trying to apply, for example, I'm building cyber threat intelligence using AI. So we can see that this is area I am trying to study. So I begin to read fundamentals of cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, deep learning, reviewing literature of all these related fields. And so you can see, if you don't understand the foundation of cybersecurity, you cannot be able to apply AI to solve the problem. So this is a cross-topic research. And it's very, very important that you know there's going to be an intersection now between the AI and cybersecurity for you to be able to solve this problem. So this is where you can see that the funnel strategy is very, very handy. Because if you actually, in the beginning of your research, you understand this funnel strategy, you can use it to frame your research, looking at different things you do at different stage. It can help you also in your research plan because the funnel strategy framework is very, very straightforward if you understand that. So when we move forward, we begin to identify, conceptualize, and frame the main research idea. What are the conceptual variables, dependent and independent variable factors? And so what are the, so if I'm trying to solve AI, solve an cyber threat intelligence using AI, what are going to be the dependent and independent variables? You can find out that the algorithms that I'm going to use are very, very important. And these are some of the, when we talk about variables, if I don't use an optimal algorithm, it means that the outcome of my solution will also not be optimal. So we need to understand what are the particular approaches I'm going to use and how can they affect this particular research. I need to also know what are the, when I'm talking about cyber threat intelligence, what is cyber threat intelligence and how can I get cyber threat intelligence? What are the sources that am I going to use in cyber threat intelligence? For instance, one of the sources of cyber threat intelligence is OSINT, open source intelligence. What makes open source intelligence? If you don't understand that, there is no way you can use AI in solving such problems. And so we need to leverage background and literature reviews to identify gaps, flaws, defects, weaknesses, and establish properly and justify the research problem. And so with that, we are scoping and framing the problem statement. So what I try to do at this stage, you set a boundary and limits of idea in the context of the conceptual parameters. So I am not going to, solve all the whole problem. Even within the cyber threat intelligence, I may not solve the whole problem. I may concentrate on using AI in in OSINT, and that is it. I may not even delve in other sources. So I need to set boundary of the research and put the context in a succinct and proper way. And with that, it will help me to begin to think about my philosophical leaning and the methodology I'm going to use. Am I going to be applying quantitative? Am I going to be applying qualitative? Am I also going to be thinking about a pragmatic approach in my research? So further inquiry to properly establish gaps, flaws, and deficiencies in the body of evidence is another important aspect as you move through the strategy. Then, at the point you have scope and frame your problem statement, the next stage you are doing is to be able to your research proposal. And in most universities, in most academic environment, research proposals is your chapter 1 to your chapter 3. And at this time, this is when you are going to actually bring out a title of your dissertation or thesis in preview, so that the going through your work, the research board will be able to see whether your title is suitable to what you have presented. And so this stage needs a brainstorming, with your supervisors or your supervising team to be able to look at what you have done at this stage, whether actually your research proposal is apt for presentation. So construct your theoretical and the conceptual frameworks and formal literature review. And so in this context, you are trying to use AI to be able to solve a problem in cybersecurity. So what is going to, this is where I think so many students get frustrated. So when we talk about theoretical and conceptual frameworks, what will form your conceptual and theoretical framework? So you will see that you are in the middle of two subject areas. So both of them must appear in your theoretical and conceptual framework. So it is important that is understood. And your literature review has also to apply in both cybersecurity and AI. And so once you are able to finish up with your research proposal, you have also come to the stage we say you have come to find your research path. So every other thing you are doing from here is focused on finding solution to the problem. And so you conduct the research, collect data, analyze, verify, validate, write a report to the station based on the result and the findings. And so once you got to the STEM, you are ready to going in one direction because you know actually the roads where you are going. And that is why you have the STEM as a narrow and you are not going to be wobbling from this stage. Your research path has been found and you and your supervisor be focused. And let me say one thing before I move to the next slide. At the time you reach at the stem of the funnel, it actually means that you are now an expert in that area you have. And you now be leading your supervisor in your discussion. Your supervisor should only be now more of administrator and a reviewer of your thoughts than actually directing you. And these are the importance of our panel strategy. So I'm almost done. So in conclusion, I'm having a very serious problem here. Can you still see my slide?
Yes, we are seeing it.
But something is blocking it from my own end. I don't know whether it's the same.
Is it not from your own end?
Do you see anything? So I just need to stop because something is blocking the entire of my screen. Just hang on a moment. Let me stop sharing. I think something was blocking my view. Yeah, I think it's okay now. Okay, so in a way of conclusion, we can rightly say that our funnel strategy meets that aspect of research being rigorous. The funnel strategy metaphorically helps to follow the rigorous and laborious processes to understanding the concept of academic research. The funnel also apply the systematic approach of research, research philosophy. Figuratively helps you to apply a systematic approach in the conceptualizing and framing the research idea. It's also methodological. The funnel strategy symbolically helps to adapt methods and techniques in conceptualizing the research philosophy and methodology. It also helps you to focus. The funnel strategy characteristically helps you to the researcher to maintain direction and remain focused. So principally at the funnel stem, it metaphorically illustrates that the researcher has finally found the direction of the study and henceforth can sustain and remain focused until the research is completed and defended. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much. I think I'm done. Thank you very much, Dr. Kennedy. Are you still there? Hello, nobody's talking. Are we still there? Can somebody confirm you can hear me? Dr. Kennedy, are you still here?
He is. I think he's having issues with his mic. 1 second.
Okay, so maybe somebody can take over and moderate for questions.
Hello.
So that
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Kennedy.
Okay. I think the admin muted me. I think I managed to. So I want to. Can we give a reaction to this brilliant and wonderful presentation? If you are here and you are funnel compliant, you can give a digital reaction to Prof's presentation. Wonderful. So Prof, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to make a very interesting and very simple comment. If you have a PhD student or a research person that have not heard about the concept of funnel strategy or building research, please quickly look for this book and go and grab it. There's a research sometime we started doing on digital twin for driverless cars with Tesco, Imperial College, Manchester, Met. You discover that, research is not something you just rush quickly and just go and gabble something. No. The approach we followed aligned strongly with the subject and concept of, funnel strategy. And at the end of the day, we were able to come up with a research prototype. And I can tell you that it was quite easy for us to eventually publish this, the findings of the research in one of the Q1 journals in IEEE Transaction and Elsevier. One of the reasons why people are find it very difficult to publish in very good and high impact factor venue, if you have not followed through a process, a systematic process, like this funnel strategy, you will be having lots and lots of gaps in your research engagement. And at the end of the day, you will not be able to produce an artifact or a product that will fly the metrics required for assessment. So I want to say that AAIMLON fully will be working on this funnel strategy for all the grants, projects, all the things we'll be doing. And then I want to plead that we move into, adoption, and people should begin to take advantage of the benefits of this particular presentation. So on this note, I want to say a very big thank you to Professor Mbanaso and Dr. Luci and all the colleagues that have been able to participate at this point. I want to allow some questions and then reactions and then feedback before we'll be able to close down this particular section. Our time is fast spent. So I'm going to allow few persons. You can raise your hand up, and then while I spot you out, you can ask your question. So this is time for us to ask questions, and then we'll take it from here. Questions, please. Any question? Any suggestion or compliment or some sort? It's important we take that down now, please. Okay, Kabiru. Kabiru, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead, yeah.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Yep.
We have listened to the presentation of our Prof, and Prof has done justice to the topic of presentation. Thank you very much, sir. May Almighty bless you in an abundant way. We really appreciate your kind support and the presentation. Thank you very much, sir. And what I have realized is that when it comes to issue of our research, many postgraduate students are facing it very difficult when it comes to issue of conducting research, most especially when it comes to issue of even getting a research topic. And also, apart from that, research are being conducted in Nigeria, and a lot of problems that need to be solved cannot be solved with the use of the research being conducted by the Nigerian student. So what kind of advice are you going to give to the researchers and also to the authorities concerned, that what are the ways you think can be followed to make use of this research being conducted by indigenous Nigerians in solving the problems of Nigeria? Thank you, sir.
Okay, Professor Mbanaso will give response. I don't know if Professor Luci is here. I want her to respond. I will still give a compliment to that question, and then we'll close out on that. Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me talk from the perspective of Nigeria. Since 2017, thereabout, I have been privileged to supervise some PhD students. So it depends on the mindset of the students coming to do research. Some are coming to get a high degree they can tender in their offices as having PhD. So with that mindset, it is difficult for them to even take whatever you are talking about academic research. Their view is just to write a piece of thesis and be awarded a PhD and off they go. Very limited percentage. I would say maybe from my own experience, maybe 5% of the students I have come across actually wanted to do a real PhD. And this is where the problem is. Once somebody wants to do a real PhD, then it will be easier for you to take him through the journey to understand that PhD, academic PhD, also need a lot of patience. You have to be patient with yourself. Like one PhD student confessed sometimes, you can even Google it. He said, if you have not cried, it means you didn't pass through a PhD. And you find out that almost every candidate that have done a proper PhD, you must come to the period when you are blank. Like going forward is difficult, going backward is difficult. So you must come to that stage. And this is why you need a research plan. And this funnel strategy is very, very dynamic in framing your research, because if you understand the funnel strategy, it means that you understand the steps you are going to take. At which point can you say confidently, I am actually doing a research? You cannot confidently say you are doing a research until you come to the stem of that funnel. It's actually after your research proposal, you can now begin to say you are a PhD candidate. In many climes, is at that stem is where you have now can call yourself as a PhD candidate because you have passed a proposal. For instance, in the UK, if you do a research proposal and fail 3 times, you are awarded Master of Philosophy by Research and you leave. You cannot progress to the PhD. But here it is not the same. Even from the school authorities, sometimes they give you pressure, to just give people, let them go. And that is why we are not having a consumable and a productive research outcomes. So we are just doing research to just have a degree. And I must be sincere to you, it is worst with people who are in the academia who are also doing a research. Their aim is to just have a PhD for promotion. And that puts a lot of pressure. So you just have very few people who want to do a research, follow that rigorous process coming to evaluate research. And let me also tell you the danger. The danger of what is happening, especially in Nigeria, is that we are recycling ignorance. Remember, I said initially that research is subjective. The way I train an academic person who is actually doing a PhD, when he passes, that is the way he's going to pass it on to those who are coming behind. I will tell you that I was in one seminar and a PhD student who has done research proposal, who is about to go for Viva, is still putting in his work that he's using qualitative, he's using quantitative, and he's using mixed method as his research methodology. And this thing has passed through many PhD and professors, but yet it's either they didn't read the work or they don't understand how a research methodology is framed or formulated. So it's a very huge problem. And so it is actually helping us to be able to streamline, to be able to know. And this is why we actually did this book, because we see there is a gap in people understanding what academic research is. So we have put this book together, and I'm promising you that if you get a grab of this book and go through it, you will have a very successful research journey. Let it be a companion that can help you if you want to actually do a valid academic research. I don't know if I'm better.
Yeah, Prof, thank you so much. Very, very brilliant, very serious feedback. I'm sure so many persons, they are learning from this, interaction. So one of the things I will really suggest for those that want to do research, those that probably have found themselves involved with, a piece of research, or you must do your best to network and collaborate. One of the things we are doing at AAIMLON is to create a platform where we can support, persons from diverse backgrounds. We have those from the industry, those in the academia, that at some point in your career progression, there are some lacunas, some spaces. You are free to network with us, and then we'll point you out, signpost you to individuals and persons that can mentor. So we need a whole lot of mentorship within the space. Mentorship is lacking in a country like Nigeria. When I go to the UK, one of the things I learned first is that you have what they call line manager, somebody that monitors you and mentors you at every stage. He knows what you're doing, guiding you, making sure that you are hitting the bars, So at the end of the day, you come out very strong, right? That practice is not there in Nigeria. Everybody's rushing, just like what Prof said. I mean, everybody's rushing. I want to just get this PhD. And so they call me doctor, they call me professor. At the end of the day, little or no content. That's why we can't even publish in good places. Some person will call it, look, I can't publish in good journals. Why? Because there are a lot of things you don't know. So you can't publish in those places. So one of my recommendations is that we're going to start looking out for mentors, those that have passed through this process, that have built credible landmark, footprints, can signpost you to them. You network with them, but don't transfer your liability to them. They can just mentor, point you to things you need to know, guide you through resource readings and things like that. And part of the process is this, what summit you are attending, hearing some of these concepts. I'm sure this is the first time many persons, they are hearing the word funnel strategy. Many persons have heard that before. And now you've heard it, you now begin to explore more, study more about it, engage, ask questions, begin to experiment. And before you know what's happening, you begin to, align properly. So I want to call on Lizzie. Lizzie want to make, submission. Okay. You can now. Lizzie, can you? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead now.
Good everyone. Sorry, I'm in a weekend mood. My name is Luci Abraham. I work in the area of agriculture, and I have opportunity to receive some trainings on AI and innovation. I want to ask this organization or association, how old have we had it in Nigeria, and how can I become a member?
Okay, that's another swing. We want to close out on the presentation, then we'll look at attend some of those questions, so we don't mix up things. So we'll reserve that question. We'll give you an answer. Okay. Is there any other question on the presentations we've had today? AAIMLON, is a leading AI, association in Nigeria. We're going to give you more details about it. We started, I'm sure some of you probably would have joined late, but we'll talk about it later. Now, any other question before we round off this segment? Okay. Dr. Festus, are you still on ground? Hello, Dr. Festus. Are you still there? Okay. Chinelo is raising her hand. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I have two questions. The first one is to Prof about the textbook. Yeah, computer science, yes, cybersecurity, and I'm asking whether I wouldn't be wrong to say that if you want to also do a research on data science, AI, or machine learning, that funnel can also be a good guide for you, because the explanation shows that it's well-rounded for data science and AI. I wouldn't be wrong to say that, right?
Yes,
yeah.
You are very, very correct, Chinelo.
Okay.
That is why I also have demonstrated it using research in AI. So yes, so the book is suitable for almost every field, even in the social sciences. You can see one or two things there. Why we call it research techniques for computer science information systems and cybersecurity, is that most examples we gave in that book are from these three disciplines. And so, but that can apply anywhere, any research, because a lot of areas were discussed, research design, so many generic was discussed. So the book will be suitable for any type of research, but most examples are drawn from these areas. And in fact, if you go through the book, you will see examples in artificial intelligence, examples we gave using artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Okay, sir. We hope to have a physical copy around Nigeria where we can get the physical copy, please.
Yeah, if you can contact me or contact any of the authors, we can actually help to get and unfortunately, the copies I've gotten has exhausted. So if you want us to get physical copies for you back in Nigeria, we can do that for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for yeah. So my second question is in the digital transformation, a wonderful session on digital transformation to digitalize our mathematics. Using what I want to ask is that from the presentation, the speaker was talking about analyzing a whole research work about mathematics research to make it easier for students, or building upon solutions to do that. But my own question is, now that we already have existing solution like data mining, I would really like for our speaker to be more detailed that if we use data mining, like mining existing research work, is there a kind of guide that will say, okay, we are mining these research work to have particular words that can be able to guide us towards already to summarize already existing work? Is there a kind of a framework to apart the solution is okay, let me say using a existing solution of data mining, is there a kind of framework to guide that, okay, by the time we're able to mine all these thousands of research work on digitalization of mathematics, so that we can be able to know how to extract the needed things in order to move to the next level in digitalizing our study in mathematics? I don't know whether my question is understood.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yes, I can reply. So what we're talking about is a form of data mining, but data mining is, it's a very broad subject area. And there are many different techniques, many different approaches, but the tools, the AI tools, are not necessarily being designed and applied to do the kind of data mining that we need for systematic literature reviews. Remember that every time we apply data mining, we're designing an application to do that. We're not necessarily using so much off-the-shelf applications anymore. In the early days of software design, there was a big focus in the world on off-the-shelf applications. But that world has passed because so many people now have design capability, software design capability. So we have to move on from using what I call off-the-shelf, static kind of designs to designing on a regular basis, a daily basis, a weekly basis. That's my response. Thank you.
Thank you. I understand now. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much. I guess this will be the last question we are taking. I want to move straight to, if there is no other comment, I think the question and answer section, we've concluded that. So I want to give brief about our announcements, membership dues, and invitations to several collaborations and proposal. I will want to call on Dr. Festus, if he's around, to talk on membership dues with respect to AAIMLON. So many persons have been asking us questions. We have AAIMLON, as a host here in Nigeria. We have our outlet in the US, in the UK, and we are spreading to other countries that have strategic alignment with our core vision. General Issa Williams, he's not here. He's our founding, grand patron. He has been the main defense force in the Nigerian military, and our chair, Dr. Solomon Erasie, the current Police Service Commission chair. He's unavoidably absent. He's been the chair of the association, and if you visit our website, you'll see more about the profile of the association. But I would like to, if Dr. Festus is here, please, I want you to handle that segment. Otherwise, if he's not here, Professor Francisca, Vice Chair, can handle the aspect of membership dues, registration, and the rest of that. Prof, are you here?
His Festus gone? Has he gone?
It appears he might be. I can't see him. He's not responding. So, but if you can handle that, fine. Just yes.
All right. For our membership categories, we have is actually open to computer science, information technology professionals or practitioners and anyone that is actually interested in the computing discipline, especially artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we have professional fellows. That's the highest membership grade we have in the association, and is granted to interested members that have actually proved his professional or her professional activities to justify that particular area of computing. And we have each of the categories, there are requirements for it, which if it's met by any proposed member or already member of the association, is given to you. Then as a member, which is the second one, you can actually apply to be a member with a BSc and MSc or even HND or PGD in any area of computing or any area with specialization in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then we have associate members. These are people that are from maybe the industry, possibly with HND in non-related courses, in addition to having a PGD in related courses also. Then we have graduate members. These are our students that have graduated in the university or polytechnic, having graduated and maybe has taken a PGD or just taken a PGD in computing or related courses. And then we have the student member, which is what we have built in the universities. And these are the people that actually we are building up seriously on AI and machine learning researches. And they're actually in all universities or polytechnics with eagerness to move on in AI and machine learning. Then we have our sixth membership category, which is the corporate member, which is actually granted to corporate organizations like some of the ones that we have with us now, and they must be registered with a CAC, and they have their requirements. So for corporate member, they have to buy from at 10,000, add their certificate of incorporation, company profile, and photocopy of the receipt of payment, and then they will be endorsed by the two financial current full members with an article of memorandum. And for our other categories, we have the student member is 5,000. That is the subscription annual dues of membership. For graduate member is 10,000. For associate member is 15. For member is 15. For fellows is 20. Now for the requirements, for each person that is interested to be a member, you first purchase the registration form, fill it, add all the things required, and once it's dispatched, the Secretariat actually gives you an acknowledgement letter, and you continue to continue to process your form, and that's when the commencement of processing starts. And if you're a successful applicant, because actually a fellow must endorse you, a member must endorse you, a full member. So every registered member, individual or corporate, is actually required to pay annual dues. And for corporate, license dues also to renew their practitioner's license. For individuals that are also in competing professional practice, for you to be a member, you must have these requirements, and each has its benefits. There are a lot of benefits. You have seen this one. If you remember, see what you have benefited. We have a lot of benefits as members of this association. We network a lot. The 3 people that spoke to you, the moderator is currently outside the country. The speaker is also outside the country. That's her base. And then you have a doctor also from Nasarawa State University, but he's currently also outside the country. These are people that we have as members, and other members also that are there, especially what's the idea, the real idea that made the mandate for this association to stand. Apart from professional recognition, you network and collaborate a lot. There are a lot of opportunities. And then professionally, members have technological innovations and publications and researches, which they can actually build up and use to mentor and do a lot of things. You have also, we have rich professional network, because there's no place in the world that we cannot get someone that can do something for us if there's need for it, because we also have our members globally. Then you talk about developing team skills, leadership, and you have to be self-confident. For example, the students that attended today, especially this PhD students, will not have issues in their researches again. They will not quarrel with their supervisors, because they have seen and they have heard what is obtainable in PhD research, unless they are not what we need in this association. People
Yeah, I think network. Okay, Prof, I think network is giving problem. Hello, can you hear me now?
Are you hearing me?
Okay, your network went off.
Are
Yes.
you hearing me now?
Okay, summarize, Prof. Summarize.
Sorry, that's not all right.
Okay.
So thank you so much for attending our function. And if you want to be a member, it's something easy for you to do. And if you drop something on the chat or immediately after this,
Okay, yeah, Prof, thank you so much. If you can hear me, I think you've maybe just go to the website or contact, the secretary. I'm sure they will help process your membership. So a few other information we have here. We are working on our collaborations. We have several industries. We met with the minister some time ago. The vice chair, they met with the minister, and the minister requested for research artifacts, completed projects, what they call it, a publication on AI and all that. Nigerian government is gazetting lots of research on AI. So if you have something that you want us to package, the idea is that they are building a repository. Some of this will help to facilitate, some of the grant interventions they have currently. You can contact us and then we'll see how you can benefit. Our members will be the first set of persons that will benefit, I can assure you, because, we already at what do you call it, where our conversation and discussion is actually on a different scale at this time. So we are planning for a collaborative engagement with our partners in some European countries, in the US and in Dubai. We're going to be calling on you. If you are an expert within the AI space, if you have some prototype or proof of concept you've built in the past, please get across to us. Will help to drive the visibility and then network you with other experts, among the board of trustees and, our members. In 2024, we are planning for a major international conference. Partnership volunteers are all welcome. If you want to volunteer, you're going to join us. We are working with Springer and Elsevier to see if they can publish our proceeding. That process is ongoing. So if you want to participate, you can, signify and volunteer in this engagement. It's purely AI and nothing but AI. We'll have more time to discuss more. So at this point, I want to thank everyone. Dr. Festus, are you still on course? If you are not, Dr. Festus, are you on course now? Okay. So our time is fast spent. I would like to close down this meeting. I want to call on somebody that I know very well that will give us a closing remark. But once again, I want to thank my colleague, Professor Mbanaso and Dr. Luci, for taking out time to participate in our event. We're going to communicate your official appreciation letter from our chair, Dr. Solomon Erase. We're going to communicate that later of commendation, appreciation for serving as a guest, lecturer in our virtual summit series. Thank you so much, and I want to thank every one of you that participated. Feel free to relate with us. Contact the secretariat if you want to become a member. You pass through the process, and once you're endorsed, you will just roll you in, and then you become a member. So in the absence of any other submission or contribution, I'm going to call on the Dean, Dr. Deborah Ebem. You're going to give us a closing remark. Somebody is saying, I want to ask how you can interface with other computing association bodies in Nigeria. Already we are interfacing, but because of the strategic nature of the kind of things we are doing, we don't want to get into mixed multitude. We have strategic alignment with some key organizations. Already we have collaboration with Springer, with IEEE, and many of renowned international bodies. We are not actually collaborating with, there are some set criteria. Once we satisfy that any organization satisfy those criteria, then we can be able to enter into alliance, because we have expert and professional in AAIMLON. So we don't want to just join any kind of collaboration. There are so many organizations within the Nigerian space whose contributions are not, in alignment with our corporate visions. So we are reaching out as much as possible, but we are being careful. So, but if you feel you have something to offer, please get across. We'll have conversation and see how we can take it from there. Dr. Ebim, I think you are ready. The slides will be shared. If you're a member, you will definitely have access to the slide. For CPN, NCS, well, we are having conversations on, strategic alignment on areas where we can collaborate. The challenge we have is that most associations in Nigeria, they are more like their impact, their impact is still not very strong. And so we are being just careful with the kind of alliance and collaborations, but moving forward, we are engaging. Once we satisfy certain requirements, we'll be able to, drive, and work together. Like I said, this is not just a Nigerian organization. It cuts across Europe, the US. We're talking about South Africa and some other, countries. So we have an international outlook, not just Nigerian, an organization, as a matter of fact. So let me call Dr. Deborah to give us a closing remark. I don't know if there's anyone that have any comments. Probably you can just raise that before she gives her closing remark. If she's not ready, I'll call on Professor Ronke Thomas. These are my very good friends. They can give us closing remark, and then we can close the meeting for the day. Thank you.
Oh, good afternoon, Sir Zamaz. It's really been a worthy time being here. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for what you're doing in the research space and
Part of the presentation.
As a crosstalk here. Okay, we'll have to vote of thanks. Let's finish with Professor Ronke, then Dr. Deborah, you can now go. So she's already on spot. So once she's done, you can, even though I couldn't see any male, so we'll have gender balancing. But Professor Ronke, please go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. It's been a good presentation. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Lucy. And yes, I've checked the what do you call it? The link, and straight on I'm going for that book, via the Springer link. So we really appreciate the impact, and I'm sure, like Prof said, personally, I'm going to spread it across my domain so that students and PhD researchers can actually leverage on it, because the truth is a lot of people don't know what to do. Even when you're passing it across to them, they're still feeling maybe you're bothering them or disturbing them. I look forward to so many other impactful webinars like this. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we do have our webinars. We'll be having series. Well, as a member, you'll be seeing lots. We've had like up to 4 this year. We've had some folks from the US and all that. We're going to have the last one sometime in November. So just get ready. We're discussing with our facilitator from Intel in the US that will be talking on AI and what they are doing there. So, but more of this as a member. Thank you. Dr. Deborah, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this outing. It has been a wonderful one. I would have learned enormously. Want to thank God for you people, and we pray that this will continue. Then I will say the closing prayer, and I say, in the name of Jesus, amen. Father, we thank you for this opportunity, and as the association continues, we ask that you continue to grant them vision and wisdom and protection. Their heart desire for this program, that it will not be cut short. Blessed be the holy name for the work they have been doing in mentoring us. Be thou glorified in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Those that want to volunteer in our forthcoming conference in 2024, reach out to Secretariat. We're compiling some names from Nigeria and some other please indicate interest so that you can be part of the organizing committee. The chair has communicated, we share this with you. So for our speakers, we'll reach out to you via our alternative communication channels for certificate of appreciation and commendation letter for the presentations. For the slides, all our members will get the slide. If you're not a member of AAIMLON, I'm sorry, you might not be able to get it. It's those are members, as a matter of policy, will be able to get the slides, and then yeah. So, in the absence of anything, I want to thank everyone.
Dr. Kennedy, before you close, I have I've been on the site trying to register, and it's not seamlessly. So Please, can somebody review that? Because I know many people also can be trying to register and not get through. I've been to the past 15 minutes trying to register
No,
and it has been difficult.
There's one for this thing.
No.
There is another.
Miss Bello will help you. It's actually working. People have registered.
There's
They have gotten
another CV that has sent one to tax. I sent it to her. She didn't send it.
Okay, Prof, don't worry.
Help me.
Prof, don't worry. We'll sort your own out.
But what I'm saying is that it should be very seamless. So,
yeah,
so that it's easy for people to register. I've been 15 minutes here, trying to register, and so, but probably the flow of the application is different. So, let him help, but then he should be able to.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk to our web team. We'll talk to them and let them, look at that. But I can assure anyone that wants to register.
Okay. Can I give you? Because time? Can I give you a feedback? I've just figured it out. What was happening?
Okay.
So what is happening is, before you register, it asks you to create username and password. As you create that username and password, it's not taking you to where you register. You just be there blank, looking at what is happening. So I just intuitively now suddenly me log in with what I created. As I logged in, then it took me to a place to register. So it should be seamlessly, as you create user and password, it should take you to the portal, as I'm seeing now. So we don't go back and forth.
Okay, no problem. I've not actually had. I will talk to the web team. I'm just getting this one now, but Miss Bello, take notes. We'll talk to the web team. We'll resolve that. But anyone that wants to register, if you're having any issue, just feel free to contact any of the officials. They will be able to sort things out for you, and then we can take it from there. So thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate all the participants from wherever you are participating from Nigeria, outside the country, and wherever you are. We want to wish you the very best. The next summit will be coming up sometime in November. We are speaking with our team in Intel in the US. And then we are still talking to the minister. He's going to be one of the facilitators because he's actually one of our newest members now. So we're going to be having this series. And then, like I said, it's a platform for networking. The quality of people in AAIMLON, you can't get it in any association in Nigeria. Trust me. This is where the best brains in AI, IT and what have you, this is where they are domiciled. So we want people to connect, collaborate, and share information as much as possible. I wish you the very best, and see you in our next summit. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.